Hey everyone, today I am here to talk about bedroom anxiety, which is a very big problem for many people with all different fears. It doesn't just have to be a sexual intrusive thought such as a POCD or a harm or something like that, because there's lots of fear of what if I do something too aggressive or too rough and I choke them and hurt them, what if they suffocate, etc. There's the embarrassment fears. What if I can't perform? For men, what if I can't keep an erection? There's no other way to say it. For women, there's a lot of fears of, oh my God, what if I'm so turned off it feels like they're violating me in the sense of an ROCD sense. There's a lot of things that can go wrong in the bedroom and lots of avoidance behaviors and lots of compulsions that people can do. I'll try to cover as much as I can. Before I go any further, please subscribe, hit that like button down below. Let me know what you think about this video. This is a very difficult topic to cover for sure. There's no doubt about it. There's so many avoidance behaviors and compulsions that we see, and let's jump right into it. So let's go over some of the basic ones that we tend to see. People who have not engaged in any sort of romance or intimacy. I've worked with numerous people who have not engaged in intercourse year, 2 years more. I have people right now that are coming up on 3 years, which is a problem, right? There's a lot of problems with that. When it comes to building an intimate relationship with someone, it takes effort, usually effort on both people. We can't control what the other person is doing. A lot of times it does come down to us and us not wanting to do something like that. So it is something that we have to be aware of in that sense, all those avoidance behaviors along those lines. Now, so let's start with some basic exposure. So let's say someone isn't even kissing someone. So we have to start with that. All the feelings of disconnection that come with that when you are kissing with someone, all those will need to be there, right? Do I love them? Do I not love them? Leaning into that, right? It's going to feel extremely real. You're going to feel extremely disconnected to the person. You are going to have to sit with that discomfort and try your best to go into that situation, and then leading up to foreplay, and then obviously into intercourse. Now, intercourse will be the final boss for many people. If you haven't even, I'm actually going to lean back a little bit. If you haven't even kissed your partner, can't put my legs there. If you haven't even kissed your partner for a long time, starting with that would be a good place to start, and then moving your way up to the actual finale, which would be intercourse. Now, for men specifically, because female don't have this particular problem, right? There's pros and cons in every situation. Women can fake things in the bedroom a little bit more than men can, because men have a piece of equipment that when it doesn't work properly, it's very noticeable. So there's a lot of embarrassment factors with that. You are going to have to get used to going into the bedroom, regardless of whoever that you're sleeping with or anything like that, and try your best to make do with that. I could not keep, there's just no other way to say it, right? We got to be real about this. I could not keep a full erection for at least a year. It just wasn't what I wanted it to be. And I just knew that if I avoided this, it would become even bigger of a problem. And luckily for me, Erica was very kind about that. She could have not been so kind about that. And also got to remember, too, I was trying to cover adult websites and all the cheating behaviors I had and all those other issues as well. So there was a bunch of desensitization issues I had, me not being able to concentrate, and then I was like trying to forcefully concentrate, and that was a problem. So men with that. With women, it is going to feel a lot of faking it until you make it. In any scenario, I have had numerous women I've worked with. So I just feel like I'm laying there and I feel like I absolutely hate it. I feel like a dead fish. This is the worst thing ever. And it is going to feel like that for sure. And that goes for women to women scenarios as well. I work with all sorts of couples, straight, gay, heterosexual, trans, polyamorous. It doesn't really matter what the scenarios that you're in. Again, each person will have their own issues in the bedroom. You are going to have to get used to whatever thoughts are coming there. So if there's sexual intrusive thoughts about your family members, mom, dad, brother, sister, children, those will have to be in your mind as best as you can allow them to be there as you learn to break it down, why it's not the absolute worst thing in the world. Yes, it definitely makes sex, because we've used sex in that way of it being the highlight of our day, after a long day, the highlight of a good relationship. These are all understandable things, but we are going to have to get used to that being there as we go throughout and try to make the act work. There's no correct, you see stuff, good marriage has sex X amount of times a week or that. I don't believe in any of those sort of things. I just think that it's probably good that the person that you're with, you guys are having some sort of romance or intercourse on a multiple week basis. Understand things happen. Erica can go a week or two if she's on her period and things would work, but that's usually not the norm. So we have to be aware of that. Usually when we go long periods of time without engaging in those things, it tends to not be the healthiest outcomes. It's not that we have a lot of animosity against each other, but maybe tension will build and stuff like that. So the longest that we tend to go is maybe 2 weeks. It's very rare that happens, but it does happen. Then we approach each other and we say, hey, people are very odd about this. Again, fear of embarrassment and shame. Hey, babe, I feel like we haven't had any sort of romance or sex in the last couple weeks. It also is important, too, that people are turned on and stimulated in different ways, and that might not be the way that your partner takes it. So men tend to be a little bit more visual. They could be a fucking bomb going off. You could be in a war zone, and guys can turn on like that. Just the reality of it. A lot of women are not like that. Erica is a little bit more sensual in that way. She likes to be to have massages and stuff like that. And this is not like an Erica thing. It's many women are like this. I've known her. Many women I've been with. They like a little bit more of a lead up. They can't just switch. Their brains don't go from like they can do it. It will be harder for them, but they have a harder time going from like, hey, I just was watching like a horror movie and then all of a sudden I can go horny and have sex on the couch. That's not, there's nothing wrong with it being that way, but a lot of people are not that way. So you're going to have to work in a way there was a compromise with your partner, but avoiding any sort of conversations like that is a problem. The other thing too, fears with the bedroom that we see a lot of people who have been with someone for a long time. There's a lot of fears of, oh my gosh, I've been with the same person for so long, it's become boring. And if that's the way you think it is, you're going to have to try your best to make it stimulating again. Whether that's with certain types of going to a romance store, maybe there's outfits or different types of foreplay or even toys involved and stuff like that. Like this is a very mature conversation that people need to be having with their spouses or whoever they're with, their partner. This idea that this is like a taboo subject makes it more of a problem for other people. It's not a taboo subject at all. People screw and people have sex and people want to have sex with lots of people. Even people who say they're the most monogamous, religious people ever, if I could get inside their brains, the chances are they've thought sexual experiences, thoughts and images and playing out foreplay with other people. In the grocery store, someone they thought were sexy. No, that's never happened to me. That's not true. That's bullshit, for the most part. And we have to highlight those realities of life because the idea of a taboo subject comes from that shouldn't be that way. But why shouldn't it be that way? Why should you not be having sex with your partner and having a fleeting thought of your father? Why should that not happen? I'm not saying you like that or you prefer it, but where are the universal principles that states that that should not happen? That is the problem. And that goes for any sexual scenario, any type of image or thought or sensation that comes to you. Now, it's going to take time for some people to get back in there and make this happen, but you are going to have to make steps forward as you try to make that happen. So don't want to go too far on the subject. Start with stuff small. If you haven't kissed or done anything like that, make that a priority. Go from there. Phil@OCDRecovery.com. If you've been with someone for a long time, to make it stimulating, you're going to have to try. You're going to have to put effort in. This is what's important when you're going through OCD and anxiety recovery.